Good morning to all. Today we are going to discuss about the next type of resistance transducer called strain gauges. Okay, strain gauge, actually strain gauge is nothing but a sensor, resistive sensor, which detects change in force related, the derivative parameters of force. What are the derivative parameters of force? Pressure, strain, stress, and etc. Okay, so let us start today's discussion. So good morning to all. Today's our discussion is on resistive transducers, mainly strain gauges. So the input to the strain, is derivatives of forces. So input the strain is derivatives of forces. What are the derivatives of forces? Stress, strain, pressure, and torque. These are all the derivatives of force. So for all, force is the basic parameter. Before going to our discussion, let us see what is meant by strain. So what is strain? Strain normally represented by epsilon. This. So what is meant by strain? Change in dimension to original dimension. This is basically a strain. If it is change in dimension to the original, change in length to the original length, it is called longitudinal strain. Say this is a bar, cylindrical bar or rod or wire, okay, whose cross-sectional area is A and the length is L. Then when we apply a force or tensile force on this side, so suppose this end is fixed, then there will be an elongation occur to this cylindrical bar. This elongation is called increasing length, change in length or increasing length. So that is represented by del L. So strain is in general any dimension. If it is a volume, the change in volume to original volume is called bulk strain, volumetric strain or bulk strain. If it is area, del A, or diameter, so it has the diameter. If we apply a force, a tensile force or compressive force, there is a change in area. Okay, change in area. So del A, change in area of cross section. So del A by A. So what is del A by A? Del A by A is actually lateral strain. Okay, so longitudinal strain, sorry, this is called linear strain, this is called lateral strain, or this can be also represented as del D by D. Either way you can represent it. Then one more parameter is stress. So what is stress? Stress is nothing but force by area, which is similar to our pressure. Force by area is also called pressure. So in metal, pressure is normally applicable for liquid parameters. So in metal parameters, it is called stress, basically stress. In metal, non-metallic things normally called a pressure. In metallic, it is called a stress, okay, force by area. So next, one more parameter we should know, that is called modulus of elasticity. That is E, modulus of elasticity. What is modulus of elasticity? What is modulus of elasticity? Stress by strain. Okay, stress by strain is called modulus of elasticity. Stress by strain. It is not the exact answer. It is applicable for elastic materials, basically elastic elements. So elasticity. So modulus of elasticity are simply called Young's modulus. Either Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity. You can either way call it as elasticity, modulus of elasticity. Okay. So here, what is Young's modulus? Young's modulus is nothing but stress by strain within elastic limit. That is important. That is applicable for this ratio is applicable within the elastic limit. Okay. So one more parameter we should know, that is called Poisson's ratio. Poisson's ratio. So what is Poisson's ratio? It is represented by some sigma like this. So many authors different in the representing this. Some people denote some other notations like psi and other things. We follow sigma as a Poisson's ratio. So what is meant by Poisson's ratio? Poisson's ratio is nothing but the lateral strain to longitudinal strain. Lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. What is lateral strain? Lateral strain is nothing but del A by A. What is longitudinal strain? Del L by L. So change in length by original length is longitudinal strain. Okay, not E. This is epsilon. So lateral strain divided by longitudinal strain is called Poisson's ratio. So these terminologies are very important. What is strain? Strain is in general change in dimension to original dimension. What is volumetric strain? Change in volume to original volume. Okay, others called a bulk strain. Bulk strain. Okay, then Young's modulus. Young's modulus is nothing but stress by strain within elastic limit. Then Poisson's ratio is equal to lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. Okay. So these are all important terminology. Let us move to here. The input to the strain gauge is force, strain, stress, pressure, everything. So what should be the output? Output is simply change in resistance. Okay. Normally, the manufacturer of strain gauge represent the important parameters called gauge nominal resistance value. Nominal gauge resistance, say it is called RG or simply R. So nominal gauge resistance. Then they also represent important parameter of the strain gauge is gauge factor. Gauge factor is very important the parameter of the strain gauge. Then current, the optimum current value also. So these are all when we purchase strain gauge from the manufacturer or from the shop or market, we could see these specifications from the package. Okay, so the nominal resistance RG, this is gauge factor, nominal resistance, and the limiting value, limiting error is also positive. Okay, limiting error, then current. So these are all such parameters, specification, important specifications for strain gauge. So input is change in apply strain, then output is change in resistance. This resistance change is very micro value, very small. Also the strain developed in the bar or in the rod, all are in terms of micro. So whatever strain we detect from the field is normally in terms of micro values. So micro. Okay, we should represent. Actually, the strain is as I said here, say we could see here change in length by original length. So what is the unit for strain? Strain is, you can easily tell there is no unit because this also meter, this also meter, represented in meter. But as per the instrumentation industry, we normally specify the strain value. Okay, normally specify the strain value in terms of micro. Okay, micro strain. The unit representation for strain is micro strain or micrometer per meter. We should suppose if we get the strain value in terms of millimeter by meter, we should represent in, you convert the millimeter by millimeter into micrometer per meter. That is the standard representation for strain value. Okay, let us move to the types of basic types of strain gauges. What are the types of strain gauges? We mostly concentrate the unbonded strain gauges. So this is one type of unbonded strain gauge. Okay, then so this is unbonded. So here one plate is fixed, other plate is movable. So the strain of the stretched wire is to be determined from this. Actually, this is unbonded type. So this application of the strain is for displacement application, measurement of displacement. So this is this type of strain gauges are called bonded type strain gauges. If you want to detect the strain in a particular surface, say particular metal member, so we have to bond this strain gauge filament. Actually, the size of the strain gauge is very small. Say width is 5 mm, just 0.5 centimeter. Length is some 1 mm or 1 centimeter. Okay. Okay, so this length of the, you just image yourself, the width is 5 mm, the length is 10 mm, that is 1 centimeter, 10 mm. So the thickness is like 1 mm thickness, 1 mm or maximum 2 mm thickness. So this is connecting lead, like a resistive RTD connection leads. These two are connecting leads. Okay, connecting lead. This is the direction of strain where the strain developed. Actually, this strain gauge should be bonded. Suppose this is a membrane. If you want to measure, the strain developed in the membrane, assume this is a membrane. If you want to mention this, if you want to detect the strain developed in the membrane when we apply a tensile stress, we have to bond the strain gauge exactly in the middle, in the line of the center of gravity line of the membrane. Center of gravity line means if they are rectangular, in the middle, exactly at the middle. So we have to bond the strain gauge over the exact middle. So this is a uniaxial sensor. If you bond here, it won't detect exactly. If you want in the in this corner, or if you bond in this corner, it couldn't able to detect exact strain developed in the membrane. So we should bond exactly at the middle of the membrane. Okay, so that's why it is called it is represented by direction of strain. So this is, keep in your mind, this strain gauge, the bonded type of strain gauge should be bonded over exact the line of action. So that's exact here. Okay, so there are some cements are available in the market to bond, to paste to paste or bond the strain gauges. Those cements are called strain gauge cements. Okay, you please refer the textbook for the properties of cement. What are the properties of cement should be followed? Then how to bond the strain gauge. Those procedures you can easily get from the textbooks. Okay, as I said, okay, another type of strain gauge is rosettes. Rosettes are nothing but group of bonded type strain gauges bonded together in a certain fashion. Okay, in particular fashion to detect the distributed strain. This strain gauge, the bonded single strain gauge is applicable only for the line of direction of the force. It can be collinear with that. This should be bonded in collinear with the center of gravity of the membrane, as I said here. But rosettes, suppose if it is a distributive element, suppose if there is a torque, suppose this is a cylindrical rod like this, if we apply a rotational force, that is called torque, we twist it. If suppose this one end of the circular cylindrical rod is fixed, other end is free. So here if you apply a rotational torque, if you apply torque, so this is fixed, this is movable. You just imagine yourself, if one end is fixed, if you turn this, what happened? The rod is twisting. Okay, there is a twisting force. So for that, we cannot find the exact line of action for strain. So in that case, there will be a distributive force. There will be a distributive strain is developed. To detect a distributive strain, we have to go for rosettes. Rosettes, we will see the different type of rosettes and all. Next is semiconductor strain gauge. So it is made up of germanium and silica strain gauges. These are all also called piezo-resistive. Actually, the strain gauge is simply called piezo-resistive transducer. In example, suppose in anywhere you may be required to ask what is piezo-resistive strain gauge. Sorry, piezo-resistive sensors. Give an example. Piezo means input is piezo, mechanical forces, say derivative forces. So piezo. The output is change in resistance. So it is called piezo-resistive sensors. This is also semiconductor piezo-resistive sensors. Okay. So actually, normally the bonded and unbonded type strain gauges, the gauge factor is varying from 2 to some maximum 20, 22 like that, 20, 25, maximum 20. In most of the elements, most of the metals lies between 2 to 10, some 1.5 to 10 maximum. So normally we use advanced alloy. Advanced means constant on alloy. It's also called constant on, also called advanced alloy. Then isoelastic, then manganese. These are all some famous alloys used to manufacture the strain gauge, either bonded or the unbonded type of strain gauges. Okay, understand or not? So let's now see what is gauge factor. So basically, gauge factor is nothing but change in resistance, per unit change in resistance to per unit strain. This is very, very important. Per unit change in resistance to per unit strain, that is del E by E, or simply E. Okay, that is per unit change in resistance to strain, that is del R by R, del L by L, or dou R by R or dou L by L. Okay, so define gauge factor. Gauge factor, sometimes this gauge is also represented GAG, gauge. Gauge is in the device used to sense or measure the parameter, simply gauge. Okay, sometimes the strain gauge also called as strain gauge because it is used to detect the strain. Understand? So definition for gauge factor is the change in resistance to per unit change in resistance to strain. Per unit change in resistance to the ratio between per unit resistance to strain, per unit strain. Okay, it is called gauge factor. This is very important derivation. So we start from the basic relation of resistive element R equal to rho L by A. Okay, rho L by A. So we already discussed in the limiting error derivation. You please remember what is the limiting error expression for any computing complex quantity. What is the limiting error? Same application. What is same formula we are going to use here? This is very simple technique. What is R plus del R? Say R is the resistance. This del R is the change in distance. Is this equal to function of the rho L by L? Okay, rho L by A. So what do you follow there? What is del R? Del R is nothing but, what is del R? Del R is dou. Okay, dou R. See here, del R equal to dou R by dou L into del L. So each and every parameters, we are using these three parameters to compute R. So to find del R, understand or not? In the first topic, first chapter, we discussed this. So what is del R? The limiting value for the limiting error for the computing quantity, the dou F function. Here function is resistance. So dou R by dou L into del L plus dou R by dou A into del A plus dou R by dou rho into del rho. This formula. Please refer the first unit for the propagation of limiting error topic. Same, we are simply taking the same expression here to derive the relation for gauge factor. Okay, here if you dou R by dou L, if you partially differentiate this expression with respect to dou L, keeping rho by A constant. Okay, so rho by A constant. What is simply if you differentiating partially differentiating with the L 1. So rho by A is constant. We are getting only dou L. Similarly, differentiate this function with respect to A. When you differentiate with respect to A, keeping rho L constant, rho L constant, rho and L constant, then say rho L constant. Okay, then 1 by A. What is 1 by A? Differential of 1 by A minus 1 by A square. Clear? A square. Now I am doing a simple manipulation. Minus rho L by, I am taking 1A alone. So instead of another A, put rho L by A. Sorry, rho L by A. So rho cancel. Okay, rho, sorry, rho L by A minus, I think right, good. So 1 minus A square rho, actually rho L should be here, rho L, keeping rho L constant, A rho L divided by A square into rho L by A. So both rho L cancel here. This is one more A. L by A constant rho, right? Right. Sorry. If you differentiate this minus rho L by A square into del A, okay, into del A, because it is with respect to A, del A. Understand? So here rho L by A. So this sorry, this simply A square. For this A, you get rho L by rho L by A square. We're getting minus rho L by A square into del A. Del A is there. So instead of A, we are putting del A is there, not here. Rho L by A square, rho L by A. This put A here. Or you keep as it is, don't worry. Okay. Minus rho L by A square. You keep minus rho, here it's L. Okay. I forgot this. Or minus rho L by A square into this is minus rho L by A square plus here differentiating this with respect to rho, keep rho constant L by A. So L by A del rho is there, del rho into 1 with respect to rho is 1. Okay, this is okay. In the next step, what we are doing is simply multiply by R on both sides. If you multiply R on both sides, sorry, you multiply this entire equation by R, we are making this this form into R. Substitute R here. So how to, instead of this rho A by A, how to replace rho by A by R? So what is R? Rho L by A, but we are having only rho A. If you put if you make this as a R, you remember rho L, we are multiplying and dividing by 1 L. So now this becomes R, sorry, now becomes R. Understand? So here instead of rho by A, we are replacing by R with the division of L, divided by L. Here also rho L is there. So what we have to put, if you want to put as a replace A, R, you separate A square by A into A, then rho L by A becomes 1 R. This is simple, okay? Rho L by A. So this rho L by A, 1A becomes R. So here R. Remaining is 1A is here. So del A by A. Plus here we want to put on rho here. Sorry, here rho L by A. What is rho L by A? Again it is R. So it becomes rho L multiplied and divided by rho. Understand or not? Sorry for the inconvenience. So this is a simple manipulation. Okay, first we follow the limiting value expression, then simply differentiating this with respect to one parameter, other parameters, by keeping the other parameters constant, and we reached this expression. Now we divide the entire relation by R. So entire relation by R. So del R by R, then this becomes R by R is 1, del L by L minus del A by A plus del rho by rho. Okay, understand or not? Next is here one parameter is the del A by A. Actually, we have to find the value for del A by A. Then you will get the expression. So we are getting del R by R equal to del L by L minus 2 into del L by L. how it happens, how this becomes minus 2 minus 2 by del L by L. This is the question. Okay. How now we come to the expression for area. What is area of the cross section? Area of cross section is, what is the area of cross section here? A cylindrical cross section. Area is area of cross section is circular. So what is the formula for circular expansion? Area of circle pi